What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle with Jesse W, and today we're going to go over 3 traps not to fall in your 20s. Check it out. Alright guys, so before we jump right on into this video, I want you to do me one quick favor, okay? It's very simple. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel right now for me. It really helps me out. Comment in the comment section below, what traps have you avoided or would you wish you had avoided in your 20s? And all of that, believe it or not, helps my channel out tremendously. And if it helps me, it helps you because it helps me continue putting out more videos. And that's the whole, point of it all. Put out more videos with value for you. You subscribe, smash the like button, comment in the comment section below. Helps me out and we help each other out, right? That's the whole point of it all. Well, in this video, we're gonna go over 3 traps not to fall in your 20s. Now, this is gonna be a multi-part series. This is video number 1 on the subject. And the first thing we're gonna talk about, man, is a trap that I fell into in my 20s and I should have listened to my parents. And that was a very simple one. Put a couple $100, even $100, anything really, in your IRA account. Open up an IRA account that you can put some money in, and invest it for the long term. Had I done that in my early 20s, I'm 35 now, I would be sitting on easily a couple $100,000. Easily. But I didn't do it then. I started it later in life, so I just started it recently in my 30s. And I'm putting money in that every month, like clockwork, auto draft, so I don't even have to physically do it myself. Otherwise, I probably will forget. So I just have it auto draft every month for my wife and I. Boom, boom, boom. Every month, it goes right into our IRAs, goes right into a fund with Vanguard. And it's like, wake me up, when I'm 60 years old and let me know how much money's in there. That's pretty much it, right? So that's something that I fell into in my 20s. It's a waste of, the 20s is such an awesome time to be investing. And it sounds crazy because you're like, oh, what the hell am I gonna do with that money when I'm in my 50s? Dude, your 50s ain't far away, let me tell you right now. And if you're healthy, right, and you're active, and you like to take care of yourself, dude, when you're in your 50s, you're ready to rock and roll just like you were when you were in your 20s. Is you like to do stuff outdoors, if you like to travel, whatever it is, if you're thinking about your family, etc. So in your 20s is the time to invest. I wish I would have listened to my parents. The only good thing I did in my 20s, as far as financially speaking, was not to get into crippling debt, not to get into big student loans, and save money. I did save a lot of money, and that allowed me to purchase my first property. Yeah, my first property. So in my 20s, I wish I would have done that, right? I wish I would have listened to my parents, invested in an IRA, to put in some mutual funds or some sort of ETF that would allow me to just continually compound, that investment. The only smart thing I did, a couple smart things I did in my 20s, financially speaking, was no crippling student loan debt, no huge consumer debt, and I saved a lot of money in my mid-20s leading into my early, my 30 really. So my mid-20s, 25 to 30, I saved a real good amount of money, which allowed me to purchase our home for my wife and I when we got married, put a good down payment on, remodel the entire place without getting in debt. So that really was one good thing I did in my 20s, but I still missed out on investing in my 20s. So now I'm hitting that extremely hard. Right? I'm trying to invest now as much as possible. I'm trying to spend less money on frivolous crap and put more money in the market for the long term, save up. Well, I just got in contract on a property, right? An investment property that I'm going to tell you guys more about if we close on it, because closings can get a little bit iffy sometimes. If we close on this property, I'm going to do an awesome video on this property and you guys are really going to like it. So now I'm focusing on that type of stuff, right? I'm trying to, continue to put money in the market, auto draft out of my account every month, saving money for another property after this one, and continue to acquire more properties, as time progresses. So I'm trying to invest now, right? I'm trying to make up for all the lost time in my 20s, now in my 30s before I hit 40, so that more or less I can make up for the lost time in my 20s as far as investing went. Now, that's the number 1 trap not to fall in your 20s. Invest in your IRA. Don't put that off if you can at all. I mean, even $50 a month, I have a video I did on this. I'm gonna link it here in the description section below. Go ahead and watch that video because you'll see how even $100 a month yields you real good returns. Now, the other trap not to fall in your 20s is leasing a car. All your friends are driving the newest car with their crappy ass jobs, okay? All their money is going right into that car, and they're just throwing money away, right? They're just throwing money away. I had a business lease for about 6 years. I did 2 different leases. When I sat down and did the calculations, dude, I threw away about $30,000 in car lease in 6 years. A little bit over 30,000. Never again will I do such a silly thing. Never again. Our last purchase of a car was actual purchase. I bought the car straight up, cash, boom. Don't want anything to do with payments. It's a used car. It's a 2015, but it's a real nice car. It's a 2015 Tahoe LTZ. It gets the job done for us. It looks good, and it's in great condition. And best of all, I don't have a car payment anymore. So what I do with that car payment is I put it in the market. I put it in my long-term investments. Boom, boom, boom. I'm used to not having that money. It goes right into long-term investments. So took that, payment off. I'm putting money towards a car that's not making me any money, right? Every month. Took that money. I put it towards long-term investments, which is making me money and now and in the long term, right? So don't lease cars, for the love of God. There's really no reason to lease cars nowadays, especially if all you need is a car to go from point A to point B, which is generally what we all need it for, right? Just get something according to your budget. Just get something according to your budget, right? If you make $25,000, $30,000 a year, why in the world would you ever buy or lease yourself a $20,000, $30,000 car? That makes no sense. You can get yourself a nice, Nissan Sentra, Nissan Altima, right? That's gonna cost you like $5,000, and you can drive that thing for the next 5 years if it's in good condition. And they're out there, I see them all the time, right? So try not to lease a car. That's just throwing money into the fire, right? It's just throwing money into the fire continuously over and over and over and over again, right? So that's 2 traps not to fall in your 20s. Trap number 3 is very simple. It's not having an emergency fund. It's not having a savings. The average person in the United States doesn't have $1,000 saved up. Believe it or not, it's the truth. The stats are there. I'll link them into the description below if you want to see them. The stats are there. The average car payment in the United States is about $500 as well. I'll link the stats in the description section below for you so you can take a look at them. Both these stats are right around there in that range. So the average person doesn't have $1,000 saved up, right? If you have a little situation, you got to take some time off from work, or your car breaks down, you don't have any money to, back you up. So boom, swipe the credit card, consumer debt happens. That's trap number 3 right there. Put some money aside. Put a little savings aside. $1,000 goes a long way when you really need it. And if you need more, you put up a little bit more, right? I always tell everyone that I know personally, if you are self-employed, meaning like me, you work for yourself, you should really consider having 6 months to a year of savings on hand to cover your expenses, because you never know what can happen. If you are a 9-to-5er, 2-3 months, I would say, my personal opinion, 2-3 months of expenses saved up, just in case there's a layoff or anything like that happens, and it was a little bit harder to find a job than you thought. You have 2 or 3 months there saved up, ready to rock and roll. You're not going to lose any sleep, right? Because you have the money there to continue living for the next 2 or 3 months, covering your expenses. So that's extremely important. So emergency funds, very important. How do you start an emergency fund? Put a couple bucks away. Once you reach $1,000, you open up your savings account, high yield interest if you can, and put that $1,000 in there and save it. That's your emergency fund. Add to it every month, a couple bucks, a couple bucks, a couple bucks, until you have, your 2-3 months of emergency funds saved up there. Those are 3 things, 3 traps not to fall in your 20s. Invest in your IRA. Don't put that off. Emergency fund. And don't lease a car. And don't buy a brand new car either, right? Especially if it's eating up all your paychecks. 3 very simple things that if you avoid 2 of these and do the other one, which is the IRA, you're going to be better off in your 30s. Don't believe me? Try it out and let me know how it worked out for you 5 or 10 years from now, all right? Remember to smash the like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, comment in the comment section below, let me know what traps you fell into, don't want to fall into, or were able to avoid in your 20s, and I'll catch you on the next one.